ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुवरं श्रीरूपानुगप्रवरं व्रजरासरसिकं च नारायणं तं प्रभनं श्रीगुरुचरणं वन्दे रामनपृष्ठाय भूतले कृपानुगभक्तिदं च कृपामूर्ति नारायणम्। सेवा कुञ्जे व्रजे रम्ये गोवर्धने गिरौ सदा राधा कुञ्जे रसानन्दे तत्तत्सेवाप्रदायकम् गुरुं नारायणक्यं तं वन्दे विनोदपुस्तकं यत्पादस्मृतिमात्रेण दामोदर प्रसीदति। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासुदेव गौर भक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री गुरुदेव की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरु परंपरा की जय, सर्व संतन हरिभक्त वृंद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, समस्त ब्रजवासी भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल। So, trying to follow the order of the Vaishnavas, Prabhuji. Just reflect and speak some things. I feel like the only purpose for, it's hard to speak for everyone, but for myself, only purpose for being here is to try to follow the order of the Vaishnavas. And by that we can hope to follow or please Guru Pada Padma. Prabhuji always says, Nija Nikata Nivasam Dehi Govardhanatvam. O Giriraj. Most people think Raghunath Das Goswami is saying, make me near you. Nija Nikata Nivasam Dehi Govardhanatvam. But Prabhuji always says, make me near those who are near you. Because otherwise we sit next to Giriraj, do we understand him? But if we're with those who know him, then we can know him. So the same goes for Guru Pada Padma. Gurudev is in the transcendental world serving Radha Krishna, serving Mahaprabhu. How can we relate to him? But if we're very lucky to make relationship to Vaishnavas, if we make some banda relationship with Vaishnavas, those Vaishnavas can guide us and instruct us how we can please our Guru Pada Padma. Uttam Mahabhagavat, like Gurudev, is very hard to relate with and understand, especially Diksha Guru. Diksha Guru, there's a lot of maryada, respect, and like some kind of barrier of maryada. But with Vaishnav is like mother. You can have, especially you can reveal your heart and they can guide you. So we are here to try to please Gurudev by following the order of the Vaishnavas. So there are many instructions they give. And I try myself every at least week or 2 weeks, write a thorough email, send videos, photos, all reports, what's going on, talk on the phone at least once a month or more every few weeks, and maintain that umbilical cord when we're not directly in their presence. Sometimes people say, oh, relationship is all spiritual, transcendental, we don't need to talk, we're only talking heart to heart. That's a sign of like a cheater. Unless you really have that spiritual relationship where they're appearing in your dreams with Prabhuji. Every other day he's like, oh, today lunchtime, Gurudev came and told me this. Oh, nighttime, Bhava Goswami Maharaj, Shrikam Goswami Maharaj, Gurudev, Prabhupada, they all came, they had a big feast. Brahma, Madhvacharya, they all came and they were sitting in lines, and all the 4 Sampradaya Acharyas were sitting in lines, and Bhava Goswami Maharaj and Gurudev, Shrikam Goswami Maharaj, I was telling, oh, over there they need some dal, over there they need some rasgulla, over there they need this. When you have that spiritual relationship, heart to heart, then you're always yearning. If you're not physically with them, you're always in separation. Even then, that spiritual relationship is there. Even then, you're always wanting to be with them. Prabhuji is always in his class crying, oh, when will I, in his email also, when will I be with Gurudev? I feel like, what have I done by which I have committed some that I cannot be directly with Gurudev. So in the absence of that spiritual relationship, heart to heart, then we have to continue to revalidate it by sambandha. Some relationship means talking, speaking, back and forth. And then whatever merciful instructions we get, we try to follow. So from the beginning, and also I just felt like we haven't had evening program steady for a little while, and we all go through different things, and it's a time of change. It's a time of change for us all. Some kind of chaos is there, so we're trying to navigate through that. We're all going through changes in our lives. Even being here together is something we've never done, so it's like a new thing. So how to figure that out, we're all trying to learn that as we go. But what always helps, I think, in those times of change is going back to basic principles. What got us here now? And then understanding those basic principles, and then we can move forward and having clarity, be on the same page together, what we're doing and why we are here and what is the idea behind it. So I guess going back to that, when Prabhuji requested again and again and again us to come, one of the reasons we chose this place under Prabhuji's direction, we was back and forth. Oh, we go to North Carolina, as Malini well knows, Prem, Raman, we're about to get in the car, go to North Carolina, better climate, things like that. Prabhuji said, no, stay. I want New York. If it's cold, what's the problem? In Siberia, it's -20 all the time. Don't be so soft. One of the reasons we chose, two reasons, why did we choose New York under Prabhuji's direction. First, because we wanted to come where Srila Prabhupada came to start it all, and to take his shelter and to pray for his renewed vigor and energy so that we can be a preaching mission again. Because we are not, in a lot of places, we're here just to kind of have a place, chant Harinam, do some bhajan, try to pass the time, in a bhakti life. But that's not why we're here. It's also why we are here, but it's not the primary focus. If you look at the Mutt, Gaudiya Mutt from the beginning, whenever anyone would come to the Mutt, what would they be engaged in? Param Gurudev was from a landlord family, very aristocratic. In the beginning, he joined the Mutt. What melted the heart of Prabhupada? Bhaktisiddhanta. One day, Bhaktisiddhanta was going by car to do a preaching place, and he saw Param Gurudev in the hot sun, in the Calcutta sun. He was sleeping with his head on a bhiksha box, a wooden box. And in that box, there was a slot for 1 paisa, 1/100th of a rupee, nothing. And he would go on the buses, he would go to the streets, he would go to the shops, he would ask for 1 paisa from everybody. You imagine if we went in New York City and asked everybody for a quarter in the shops. Can you give us a quarter? We're not going to get money from them. Our purpose is not to get money from them. Our purpose is to preach. But it's a way to get in. It's a way to start the conversation. Param Gurudev Bhaktisiddhanta said, I don't want you to get so much from one person that you'll be lazy and not leave the temple. And Prabhuji, when he was in Mathura, he told this story in Guru Darshan so many times. People would say, why are you coming? Prabhuji was walking barefoot in Mathura in the midsummer. And it would blister his feet, and they were so strict, they would not accept water from householders who were not initiated with Diksha. So they would go in the morning to do Bhiksha, all day out doing Bhiksha. Maybe sometimes they'd find a hand pump and drink some water. And so the Grihastas would see, this brahmachari is suffering so much, his feet, burning with calluses, and they asked him, please take enough flour and rice and dal so that you don't have to leave. We'll supply everything for the temple. And so Prabhuji came back and told Gurudev, and Gurudev said, never. Go back and tell them we never want anything from you. Very strongly. Why not? He said, because then you'll be lazy, you'll not want to ever go out. He said, the temple is not a place to hide in the room like a mouse. That's why Radharampu is our number one example of Guru Seva. Always going out to meet people. It's very good. It's actually, once we get better, then we'll have books for you, we'll have some prasad packets you can give out to people, we'll have some pamphlets about the ashram. But, why we came is to share this message. And it's about maturity in bhakti. Because when anyone would come to the mat, when we come to the mat, we think, we're coming for our spiritual development. We're coming for spiritual advancement. So it's a question of how to start progressing towards getting spiritual advancement. We want to progress in our spiritual life. Otherwise, why are we here? We're here because of relationships. We're here because of, friendships. We're here because we have Gurudev and Vaishnavas in our lives. But we're also here for our sadhana, for development in bhakti. But how to get that development? You have to make a switch. To become a mature devotee, there's a mental switch from me to Guru Seva. And so then when we realize that I am not the center of the existence, Krishna is the center of existence, Gurudev is the center of my existence, how can I serve them? Then we can make progress in bhakti. Sarva sadhana mukhya hi Guru Seva sadadrataya bhaktir bhagavati yanjasa yat sukavaha. The easiest method, yanjasa yat sukavaha, and the happiest method. Sastra says, the best way to make progress in bhakti, that's very happily done, sukavaha, and yanjasa, means very easy and very pleasurable. Sarva sadhana mukhya hi, the best of all sadhanas, the foremost, mukhya, Guru Seva sadadrata, always be engaged in Guru Seva. By doing that, very easily, you'll achieve the goal of life. When Maharaj came last Sunday, what did he say? Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada was hearing some noise at night, and he went outside, late at night, 11:30, he was hearing some kind of sound like threshing. And he saw Brahmachari was out cutting grass at like midnight. What are you doing? Why are you cutting grass now at midnight? The Brahmachari said, one other Brahmachari who normally feeds the cows was so busy in activities out here and there that when he came back, he just fell asleep. He forgot to feed the cows. So I thought I must take up that responsibility, serve the cows, otherwise the cows will be hungry. He wasn't thinking about himself. I want to sleep. I'm tired. I have to get up for Mangalarti. Who knows if he got up for Mangalarti? Maybe he was up doing that till 3 in the morning and then slept till noon. But what did Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada say? I bless you that you will never take birth again. Guru Seva, very easily, mukti. Beyond mukti, Krishna's service. Because the goal, the process is the goal. Seva is the goal, Seva is the process. And so the Vaishnavas always say, I remember Prabhuji always talks about this in Mathura. There was one older Baba who was in the temple. And he was, on Ekadashi, he was saying, I'm doing Nirjal, I'm staying in my room chanting. No one disturb me, no one talk to me. Prabhuji, come and do Seva, cut potatoes. We have 300 people coming for lunch. You don't want to do Seva? No, I'm doing bhajans. He said, leave the mat. Didn't tell him to leave the mat, but the point is that, why are we here? We're here for our own enjoyment in the name of sadhana. That's not bhakti. In Braj, Yashoda Mata is not, Krishna, I cannot cook now, I have to sit in my room and chant Harinam. It's not that this is bad. It's all what we're trying to do. It's that, what is the first basic principles? Why are we here? Because whatever we can do, directly in the Dham with Vaishnavas, sadhana bhakti, bhajan bhakti, we must do that. But here, Param Gurudev, when he was doing Diksha, did he not chant Harinam? He left in the Gaudiya Mat standard, Bhakti, there's a few things. Bhakti Kumud Santa Goswami Maharaj, before he left, it's a very important thing. He said, if the mat goes on its present trajectory, the mats will close. There will be no one to ring the bell. Because everyone is thinking, ringing the bell, cooking lunch, taking prasad, this is the purpose of the mat. He said, the mat will never survive like that. It's not the purpose of the mat. The purpose of the mat is Kalotad Hari Sankirtanat. Hari Kirtan. Hari Kirtan means broadcasting the message of Krishna. Krishna consciousness. Brihad Mridanga Seva. Publication. Media Seva. Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada. Everyday newspaper. Bhakti Prabhupada Puri Goswami Maharaj all day long would be sending each word in the press. Prabhuji would tease us in Mathura. He would say, now like one book, so difficult. I have to proofread. I have to type. It's like now you just do this on a keyboard like playing a game. Back then, we would make write it all out. Then Gurudev would check it. Then we would go to the press and set each letter in the entire thing and then get it out one by one, then we'd bring back the bundles and go on the trains and go everywhere to distribute it. Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, he started Orissa magazine, Hindi magazine, Bengali magazine, English magazine, every day, every week, every 2 weeks, every month, and all the books. Bhami Goswami Maharaj, why did Param Gurudev have so much? The story is that he was working so hard that he got tired and his finger got crushed in the press. Param Gurudev himself embraced him and took him to the hospital and took care of him, seeing how much he was willing to serve this beautiful thing. And when you do that Guru Seva, then naturally the time comes, Kirtan, Harinam, everything comes into alignment. But why are we here? And so Jagadish was just telling me an interesting thing. He was saying that Prabhupada, from the 60s to 1970, there was no scheduled program. There was not a regular program. Mangalarti, Kirtan classes, everyone's out doing books, preaching, doing programs, going here and there, constantly. Then eventually said, okay, now things have developed to the stage that we can have a more regular program. So it's a very interesting thing. I remember when Prabhuji sent us here, first he said, I don't want Thakurji, because then you won't go out and preach. Then you'll just be happily staying here. But if Thakurji comes, that means, okay, we're developing, things are going along well. But even then he told Prem and I, no, I don't want you busy in Thakurji Seva only. Otherwise, when we preach? Why? So we came here because we're taking shelter of Prabhupada and how he did things, how he would, with great enthusiasm, with great energy. At 7 years of age, Prabhupada came without any money, without any followers, without any contacts. One lady, Butler, Pennsylvania, stayed a few days. Then he went to New York. You read his diary, he was talking about how much everything cost, how he's going to do it. The first winter, how much he struggled. One of the things we were thinking is when we came here, it's like, it's going to be cold. And what we were thinking is, that's very good. We want it to be more cold. Because to properly serve Guru and Vaishnavas, we must become strong and focused and energetic. If we're all active and energetic, there's no question of difficulty with the cold. Because everything is flowing by Krishna's energy. Kriya Shakti is there, Radharani provides everything. Houses can be 120 degrees if we want them to be. But if we get, let's be somewhere where it's always 80, then the risk is that, now we don't have to do anything. Now we can just kind of relax. But Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada's time wasn't, now let's relax. Param Gurudev himself, all day that's why I was saying, Radha Manpu, Pranam. It's true. You're going out, going out to meet people. Now it's not that nowadays there's many ways to go out. You can go out online, you can connect to people, you can make connections, you can preach. Brihad Mridanga can be done online also. The point is that the first reason was to be in that place where we can develop that same enthusiasm that Srila Prabhupada gave everyone. And Gurudev would say when he first came to the West, I want you to serve and preach like in the time of Srila Prabhupada. And even in the later years, in 2010, I was reading all the South Africa lectures we were going over. Anyone would come to Gurudev and ask him, how can I serve you? He said, you should go out and preach. A person was a businessman in South Africa. Gurudev, I want to do this business. I'll be able to give you some money. He said, no. Leave your family, take sannyas, and preach. And so many people would come to him. Gurudev said, no, go out and preach. So it's like, Prabhuji sent us here with specifically that instruction. And so everything we're doing, if we understand the basic principles, why, then it can come into alignment. Why is the ashram there? Not so that we have a very beautiful, comfortable place. Because if we make it very nice and comfortable, people may want to come. Spend the night, stay a weekend, follow bhakti, become more connected to Gurudev and the mission. Then it's successful. Even for the ashram now, we want to have, morning, evening, nice program. But as soon as basic development is done, houses are working nicely, temple is running nicely, 50% of the time I'll be preaching in New York City. Whoever's here will be giving evening class. Vrindavan give evening class, Radharaman will give evening class, Malini, Jagadish, whoever's here, this place also must run on. But it's not that the difference in the mentality is, and I'm just giving, everyone has been doing amazing. I'm not talking to anyone. I'm just saying the way we can get out of any kind of confusion in chaos, we're all in different circumstances, it's all a new experience. The way we can be, at peace, there's clarity, understanding what this is and why it is here. Otherwise, we have so many different ideas what it is, but that may not be what it is. And then if one person has one idea, another person has another idea, another person has another idea, then subtly, in a subtle level, we're all in conflict because we don't agree with what we're doing. Oh, it should be like this. Oh, it should be like this. Oh, it should be like this. But if that's not what it's supposed to be, what its dharma is, then it's gonna lead to confusion. So we have to understand the dharma of this place is kirtan, Krishna kirtan. But how to do Krishna kirtan one step at a time? What are you saying, Dishprabhu, that until 1970, Prabhupada's like all day outside preaching. Then, okay, now we have some time, now we can have regular program.
Midnight Sankirtan was cancelled in 1970 so that they could attend the newly inaugurated Mangal Arti program. There was a Mangal Arti program. Oh. And Srila Prabhupada showed Srila, forgot her name. She was the seamstress in LA. So he showed her how to do arti, and he would pull her aside after and showed her a better way to do arti.
When Swami Prabhupada first came, he said, if people come and they'll come and hear a lecture, I will even be ready to serve them meat. If they will hear about the message of Krishna consciousness. Now he didn't do that, but it's the point that he was ready to take the sacrifices needed in order to fulfill the desire of the Guru Varga, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu wanted every town and village his names to be sung. Mahaprabhu predicted it. So it's like, if we can serve the desire of the Vaishnavas, and then through them Gurudev, through them Mahaprabhu, there's never any shortage for the devotees. But the mentality has to be there. So it's like nothing is, back to the story of the person who is cutting the grass. Simply by doing that small thing, taking responsibility, cutting the grass like Jagadish Prabhu, taking responsibility for what needs to be done. Then Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada said, I bless you that this is your last birth. That was it. That was his whole sadhana. That was all. Didn't have to chant Alak Harinam every day. Didn't have to bathe in the Ganga, Magh Mas, do strong austerities. The same thing you would not get by 100,000 years standing on the top of the Himalayas with your hands up. He got in a moment by pleasing his Guru, by his mood of service. And so that's why we see also Prabhuji's, how he won over the heart of Gurudev by his mood of service. Gurudev would say, every one of my temples is standing simply by his service. Every brick in Keshaji Gaudiya Math is being held together by his blood. How much sacrifice. One time Prabhuji was washing pots, Keshaji Gaudiya Math, and he would tie, because Gurudev's room was downstairs, and would be cooking 3 times a day, doing bhiksha, going to the Jamuna, bringing the buckets of water, all day carrying up the wood back and forth. Nighttime, the pots hadn't been done, so at like 11:30, he would tie a cloth around the faucet. If you know Mathura, right outside the kitchen there's a little faucet. And you'd sit there on a little wooden bench, tie a faucet on it, and let the water drip very slowly. And he would wash the pots, taking 5 times longer than it would need to. But so he wouldn't disturb Gurudev. One drip at a time, washing very softly so that no noise was made. And he would do that for days and days. One day he was sitting there washing the pots, and someone sat down next to him behind and started washing the pots. He was just absorbed, internally chanting, praying. They looked back, Gurudev was sitting next to him washing pots. He said, nobody's helping you. You're alone here doing everything. This is how we conquer the heart of Krishna. This is our process of bhakti. We don't have to do... Now, one thing, when we try to follow the order of the Vaishnavas, whatever they say, we try to follow. So that's why Vaishnavas say, the first Guru Seva is Harinam. And I always heard that in the Math for so many years. The first Guru Seva is Harinam, because if we don't do Harinam, everything will become karma. After some time, we'll stop our Seva. So if we want to continue our Seva, we must chant Harinam and do bhajans, do kirtan. Then we can understand the value of the Seva. In Braj, they're all doing the Seva. While doing the Seva, they're doing Govinda Damodar Mahadeveti. So it's like, what is more important, the Seva or the Japa? If the Japa is not for Krishna's Krishnaanusilanam, that's not bhajan. And if the Seva is not Krishnaanusilanam, that's also not bhajan. And if we're just thinking, oh, my bhajan, that's not bhajan. If we're thinking, I will make spiritual advancement by doing this. Okay, you may develop some siddhi, some sukriti, but unless you're thinking, how can I please my Gurudev? Gurudev Atma. Bhayam Dvitiya Viniveshita. All the fear that we have. Bhayam Dvitiya. Gurudev would say this again and again. Bhayam Dvitiya Viniveshitasya. All of our fear, bhai. Fear of material existence, fear of death, fear of loneliness, fear of problems, fear of relationship, whatever our fears are from. The way to resolve all our fears. Bhaktyai Kayesham Gurudev Atma. Develop bhakti by feeling the mood that Gurudev's heart is one with my heart. Whatever he desires, that is my only desire. Koro more atmasat. Oh Gurudev, make your heart one with mine. Then is bhajan. Vaishnavas aren't thinking, in Kartik. Every year in Kartik, everyone's going on parikrama. Someone had to stay back to cut the veggies and to cook and clean. And when everyone would come back and serve prasadam, the Purity said you should do parikrama of the people who've gone on parikrama and take their foot dust. And Gurudev would say in his class, remember Gurudev in Gopinath Bhavan, we'd all be sitting there by the fire in like kind of the shadowed alcove, and we'd still be cutting potatoes or sitting there listening to Gurudev. And Gurudev said, everyone who stayed back and who's done this service, they get equal or greater results than those who've gone. And those who have gone, like Tirtha Maharaj. Tirtha Maharaj wasn't going for his own parikrama. He was going and serving everyone. First there, last back. When Gurudev was with Param Gurudev the first year, 1947 in Navadvip Parikrama, when he came back, he would think, I want to wake up earlier than my Gurudev so I can start serving him. However early he would wake up, Param Gurudev would be awake chanting. He would wake up 1 hour early, Param Gurudev would awake chanting. 3 o'clock chanting. 2 o'clock chanting. Finally he was like, I can't win. Param Gurudev would wake up so early and get all his japa done, all his bhajan done, then all day seva. And then when he would come back from parikrama, it would be like 2, 3 p.m., 4 p.m. sometimes in Shringapali. And a lot of people would go to look to some place to lie down, to sleep. Param Gurudev would sit and he would watch until everyone had taken prasadam, everything was clean, then he would go and then start kirtan in class. And he said, how do you have so much energy? And then he gave the example of the rasagula. Param Gurudev said, you want to make yourself soft and sweet and juicy for bhakti, then you must make yourself like paneer. You paste paneer very finely, and then you make balls and boil it in the sugar water, then you absorb all the rasa. You just boil the paneer and don't make it like a rasgulla, don't crush it like a rasgulla, then you don't become a rasgulla. You become hard paneer. So Param Gurudev said, if you're always thinking, how can I please Gurudev, then you can't please Gurudev. Krishna is such that yeyatamam prapadyante tam sadaiva bhajamyaham. As you worship him, he reciprocates. So if we worship Krishna just thinking, oh Krishna, how can I please you by serving your devotees, by serving Guru Pad Padma, then Krishna will be pleased. And he'll give us everything. We'll never have any lacking. But we see like the Vaishnavas. The Vaishnavas accept so much hardship to please the Gurudev. Now, Prabhupada is building this Jagannath Puri Samadhi. First everyone says, oh, do it. Afterwards, no one's ready to help. But that doesn't mean Vaishnavas don't do it. Any cent, anything I get, put it in Seva. So it's the idea of mamata for Gurudev. If I have that, I must do it. It's needed to be done. Then it's not about, this is when, because it's very interesting. You read like the life story of Bhakti Hriday Bhan Goswami Maharaj and different Vaishnavas. In their journals, Bhakti Hriday Bhan Maharaj is a great example because he writes about his spiritual journey and all about his spiritual quest to, achieve Sri Krishna and, be with Krishna. But then when they join the Math, you'll see very soon a kind of switch comes. And if you read their letters, it all becomes Guru Seva. How can I please my Gurudev? And my spiritual journey is fulfilled by it's my service to Radharani. Kinkari, how can I serve? How can I please them? How can I follow their instruction? When we sing Radha Kund, that song, Chintamani Moy, Emonusha Moy Muralida Gan, when I hear that sound of Krishna's flute entering my ear, what do I feel? This is the difference. If we don't have the mood of Guru Seva, then we hear Krishna's flute song and we think, how can I enjoy with Krishna? Krishna will dance with me, embrace me, and kiss me. The Manjaris don't think like that. The Manjaris hear, oh, Krishna's flute song into my ear. What shall I do? They don't hear their own name being called. Radhe Radhe Bode Mula Didha Kive. Madhya Ishwari Nam. Krishna's flute is calling my Ishwari's name, Radharani's name. Then they get up, where can I go to do seva? That's the mentality. So the goal is in the process. If we follow the process to aspire for that goal, then we'll get that goal. But we have to do it from the basic principles where we are now. If we're thinking only, oh, how can it benefit me? How can it make me happy? Just the other day, email, Prabhuji was saying, you could be doing the same thing externally. But if it's all about the internal motivation also. Labh, puja, pradishta, my own name, fame, wealth, prestige, glories, then any activity, useless. You'll get the result you put it in. Because that's Krishna's creation. Krishna will give you what you want. Ego bahunam yo vidadati kam. He fulfills your desires. So, oh Krishna, I want to be famous and glorious and wealthy. And you work very hard, Krishna will give it. But oh Krishna, I want to be Radharani's Palyadasi. Krishna will have to think a minute and test you and test you and test you and help you develop. That's why Prabhuji always says this sloka. Jai kare amaras tar hoy sarvanas. Those who want to come to me, I destroy everything they have. Tabina chade amaras. If still they don't give up their quest for me, then I make them like a beggar, wandering around trying to just find something to eat. Tabina chade amaras. If still they don't give up their quest to come to me, then I make them the servant of my servant of my servant. Then when we pass that test, then in the spiritual world, there's no hardship. Every step is blissful. Anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam paramrita swadanam. At every step there's only bliss. Even Abhimanyu, I remember Prabhuji gave these very sweet classes about Abhimanyu and Jatila. How much they're blissful. Even though they're like the villain. Abhimanyu has to go to Nanda Bhavan and there's some seva and they give him so many sweets and then he carries the cloth back to Radharani and gives it and then Krishna's already taken out the cloth and sat inside. There's the story in Chamatkar Chandrika that Abhimanyu is coming and so Yashoda prepares a beautiful box of jewels and cloth and he's going to take it to Radharani. But Krishna and his friends take all that out and Krishna sits inside and covers himself with some cloth and then the sakas close it. And Abhimanyu is carrying it and he's carrying the Supreme Lord himself. All the universes reside within his belly. Where he said he's so heavy. He's feeling it so heavy. But in his heart there's only bliss. He's filled with transcendental ecstasy. It's not feeling like, oh, it's so heavy. Because in the spiritual world, everything is blissful. But Krishna is such that if we want to go to that place of his supreme abode, the Dhama Paramam Mama, that transcendental abode of Krishna that he speaks of in the Gita, then it requires a higher level of dedication and sacrifice. And understanding, if we can simply try to act at every moment to please our Gurudev, what would he desire? Then our Harinam is Guru Seva, our waking is Guru Seva, our sleeping is Guru Seva, our eating is Guru Seva, our driving is Guru Seva, everything is Guru Seva. And that Guru Seva is non-different from Radharani Seva. There's an article, Vaishnavas write, that how do we connect to Radharani Seva? Right now. It's not that we have to do it in another life. If we are serving Vaishnavas who are connected to Gurudev, who is connected to his Gurudev, and they're all in that Gaudiya line, like Swami Prabhupada writes, Adi Leela chapter 1, text 46, all of the Gurus in our line are empowered manifestations of Lord Nityananda, or they are the direct maidservants of Srimati Radhika. So if we are serving Vaishnavas connected to that line, we are serving Radharani. The same way we do in Braj, through Anugatya. When we pray to serve Radharani to massage her feet, we pray to Rupa Manjari. Harupa Manjali Kararchita Pada Padma Gostendra Nandana Bhujarpita Mastakaya. O Rupa Manjali, will you once mercifully look at me and invite me to massage Srimati Radhika's lotus feet? That's his only prayer. Anugatya. Even in the spiritual world, how do we serve there? We serve Raghunath Das Goswami? No. We serve our Guru Pad Padma in that Guru Saki line, in that line of Anugatya. And so we serve Vaishnavas, we serve Gurudev. If we do it in this life, that life automatically there. It's not a long distance. It's a mentality. If we are ready for it, if our consciousness is prepared for it, when Krishna entered the arena, everyone saw him in a different way according to their mentality. So however you want to approach God, through lust, through anger, through fear, through love, He will reciprocate. So how do we want to approach in our mentality? The mind is the best friend or the worst enemy. If we can switch the levers, the gear, we develop the mood of relationship to Vaishnavas. How can I please you? And with that spiritual maturity, that means then we're ready to take responsibility. Gurudev said in Jagannath Puri, in Navadvip also, without responsibility, we're no better than animals. It's not that Gurudev is criticizing, it's just that what are we here for? To serve the desire of Gurudev. And what is Gurudev's desire? Gurudev's desire is that we serve Mahaprabhu's desire. Same thing. If we serve Gurudev's desire, it's serving Param Gurudev's desire. If we serve Param Gurudev's desire, it's serving Bhaktisiddhanta's desire, serving Bhaktivinoda Thakur's, Gokshala's Babi Maharaj, Jagannath's Babi Maharaj, all the six Goswamis to Mahaprabhu, to Radha Krishna. All we have to do is serve the Vaishnava's desire. Because their desire, their heart is non-different from their Gurudev. Guru Atmasat, Gurudeva Tatma. And then there's never loneliness, there's never sadness, there's never sorrow, because you have that relationship. If you have that relationship, there's no doubt or worry in life. It's something that comes over time though. Shyamananda Prabhu, Rasikananda, right? Shyamananda Prabhu, when Srinivasacharya, many people were with him directly, but they couldn't fully understand him. And so he appeared to go into samadhi, and everyone thought he'd left his body. They prayed to, who came? I think it was Rasikananda came. He was before with Narottam Das Thakur. He said, no, go to your Guru Maharaj. He went there and he said, nobody disturb us. Because he had that sambandha, his relationship, he sat down next to Srinivasacharya. He said, Ramchandra Kaviraj. Ramchandra Kaviraj, because Narottam Das Thakur sings Ramchandra Sangamage Narottama Das. He's always praying for the association of Ramchandra Kaviraj. Why? This is what the Vaishnavas always want. Vaishnavas want association with other Vaishnavas who have this mood of bhakti. Bhakti is nothing but seva, with love. That's it. That's all bhakti is. Seva with love. Bhajadatu iti sevayam. Bhaj means seva. But seva means love. If it's no love, no seva, karma, love, puja, pratishtha. Same thing can be going on. Just the other day, my email. One person can be doing love, puja, pratishtha, name, fame, worship, respect, wealth. That's not seva. It's not pleasing Gurudev. But one person doing it to please Gurudev, then everything is bhakti. Pritiviti achedan. What did Maharaj say when he came last Sunday? One verse, he said formula. He said this, follow this formula, you'll never have any problem. It's one formula. Who remembers the formula? It was like 20 minutes in Maharaj's class. This formula, this best spiritual formula to give you ultimate perfection. Atmendriya Pritivancha Tare Bolikam Krishnendriya Pritivancha Tare Premanam. The difference between lust and love. Lust is anything I'm doing thinking this will be good for me. Atmendriya Pritivancha, for the satisfaction of my own self, my own senses. And Prem is Krishnendriya Pritivancha, anything I'm doing to try to please Krishna's senses. That is bhakti. That is Prem. What do we follow on Ekadashi? Every Ekadashi. Hrishikena Hrishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchite. Bhakti is serving the transcendental senses of Krishna. Dana Mana Vachana, with body, mind, and words. And so, Ramchandra Kaviraj, when he sat down, he had so much sambandha with his Gurudev. So much deep relationship that in his own, like this, he would sit down, his Guru Maharaj was sitting down, in his spiritual form, he immediately was at Radhakund, searching for Radhika's lost ornament. And he found it. That was given to Lalita Saki, to Radharani. Radharani said, who found it? And she brought forward Ramchandra Kaviraj in his Manjari form. Gave him complete blessing. That wasn't just a miracle that happened. It was because of his relationship to his Gurudev through Seva. That's how it happened. It's like we pray to Yogamaya, Adhyapya Silila Kore Goro Roy Kono Kono Padgivan Deki Barapai. How can we see Mahaprabhu's pastimes, Radha Krishna's pastimes? Kripa Kuri Maya Jal Udai Jakon Aki Deki Surishal Chinmaya Bhavan. Oh Maya Devi, please lift up the veil of Maya so I can see the transcendental abode in Radha Krishna's pastimes. All it needs is the covering to be lifted. That's it. In the moment it can be lifted. But first we must get the qualifications to enter that realm. That's what all we're trying to do is here. Please and follow the order of the Vaishnavas so that if they mercifully see our readiness, and they will lift up that veil of Maya, then at every moment we're in Krishna Lila. Kayati Suite Jata Kichunam Lai. Every moment, like Raghunath Das Goswami, Chapandanda Ratri Janina Radha Govinda Dine, Tarpar Chari Danda Suti Thake, Swapne Radha Govinda Deke. When we're always serving them at night, we're only seeing Guru Vaishnavas, Radha Krishna and Seva. That's what the Vaishnav's life is. When we're serving the Vaishnav every other day, every day, telling us stories, Gurudev came and said this, Gurudev wants this now, Gurudev said this now. Before we came, I was praying, Prabhuji, 10 years, 15 years, then later we can go. And he was saying for months and months to come, since like February to July, you must go. Please, 10 years, 15 years, said, no, Gurudev wants this now. You must do it now. Don't wait till you're old and tired. You're young, now you can do it. But go where it's not easy. If it's all easy, then we'll be lazy. Go where it's hard, where it's cold, where you have to struggle, because then you can understand the need for the required amount of sacrifice to serve and please the missionary Gurudev. Otherwise, no one needs to come. Gurudev didn't have to come. When Prabhupada didn't have to come. Mahaprabhu didn't have to come. Mahaprabhu came to fulfill his inner desires and to preach. But Gurudev, why did he come to the West? Prabhupada, why did they come? That's also why we came. To serve them in the same line. And that's serving the desire of Mahaprabhu. When we asked Prabhuji about going to Florida, he said, Prabhupada had 1,000 centers for Gurudev. How many do you have now? Why are you waiting? Why haven't you gone yet? But, if everyone comes together, then we can all very happily live together peacefully, eating and sleeping, and doing kirtan. That's also good. But why are we here? If we can try to serve that, then Guru Vaishnava's blessings can come upon us. Because there's so much to be done. And so if we always have that realization, what is the best way today to serve my Gurudev's desire? Gurudev said, my printing should never stop. When there would be any delay, you can ask Hal Krishna Gunata Vaishnavas about the printing, how Gurudev would say, why haven't you printed it yet? And he would call them into his room and he would chasten them very heavily. They said, it's only a demo copy. He said, print it right now, I don't care if there's mistakes. But they didn't care. Now there's so many fights going on because later on they had to go back over Gurudev's audio and fix it. And people say, why are you changing it? You don't understand. When they printed these books, Gurudev said, print it right now. Don't wait a single moment. Gurudev still would say, I don't care. Print it. When there's a war, you can't say, I'm still, you can't delay. Like the military, when the US was in World War II, everyone started working. That's how ladies most entered the workforce. All the men are out fighting a war, all the ladies are making bullets. And then afterwards, continued. Very good. Vaishnavas like it. Everyone should be engaged. There's no time for, easy life, simple, peaceful life. If you live your life in Seva, old age, you can very nicely do bhajan. And you won't be old and weak and tired. Ranganath Baba, what's the story he said the other day? He said to Jagadish Prabhu, I came when I was 45, I've been in the mat for 60 years. He was 105. And he still washed his own clothes, knitted his own clothes, took his own prasad. He would take a few rotis and soak it in milk and take it. He didn't take any seva from anybody.
Madhukari still do.
Still do Madhukari. Prabhuji tells stories, old Babas. We're telling the story that Prabhuji would go out with bare feet in the summer in Mathura. And people said, oh, I'll give you enough boga for the whole month. And he asked Gurudev, he said, go tell them we don't want anything from you. Please don't. He said, don't go back to that house ever again. Never go see those people at that house. They want to make you enjoyers. Oh, Babaji, you can just sit in the mat, don't need to do anything. So everything we're doing here, when you understand that, now we have to create a platform. You have to create, it has to be functional, it has to be nice, it has to be beautiful. Nothing is, if you understand the purpose, nothing is Maya. There's nothing to renounce. Prabhupada made a deal with Kali Maharaj. All the things that were, Kali Maharaj's property, he engaged in Seva. Dutam Banam Sriya Sunam. Yatra Dharma Chara. Everything should be engaged in Krishna Seva, even Kali Maharaj. Who are we to renounce anything? Once someone asked Prabhupada, I want to renounce. He said, who are you to renounce anything? God has everything. You don't have anything. This is your false ego to think I can renounce anything. And so Siddhanta Maharaj told the story when Bhaktivedanta Bhan Maharaj was going first to the West. He told them to buy the most expensive shoes in Calcutta. 20 rupees in 1930s. Like same thing as buying shoes for like 10 grand. He said, come and I want to see you wearing those shoes. I was thinking, how can I go to my Gurudev wearing expensive shoes? It's against Mayada, the disciple. But his Gurudev wanted it, so he went and beautiful, nice boots. Leather. Prabhupada was very happy. Oh, now you'll go and preach. When he was sending devotees to preach, it was a Kaddish, he said, cook, puri, halava, sabji, everything. He had them break a Kaddishi just because of they were going out to preach. And people complained, he said, you're not ever doing a Kaddishi. You're very lazy, you're not doing anything. They're following Kaddishi every day. Real Kaddishi is Hrishikena, Hrishikesa, Sevanam Bhakti Ruchate, Bhakti, Seva. They're going out 6 months, they're going to follow Kaddishi because they're going to be taking so much sacrifice to preach. 6 months back, you can imagine, in the 40s, the 30s. This was even in the 30s. They were going to places where everyone's eating meat. Not like vegans and vegetarians like you see now. Western countries. You go to a vegetarian restaurant, restaurant in the 40s, in the 30s, in the West. In Asian, Arab countries and Asian, Western countries, you're going to find a vegan restaurant. Even then, they were so strict, they would not take water from anyone who did not have diksha. They had so much nishta, so much steadiness in their faith. So Prabhupada said for 6 months they're following Kaddishi. But they're going to preach, so I'll even do that. So, only under the guidance of Guru and Vaishnavas is it possible to do this, but we have to understand again. Everything should be made very beautiful, very nice, very quickly. Then we can begin to preach. Then we can invite people and have festivals. Then we can go out. Once it's ready, enough people are here, every evening different people can give class. I hope I'm not here. Every night I should be in a different place. Praying every night in a different place. Either some Nam Hatta program, we're in New York City preaching. That's another reason we're here. Because we're close to the city where there's 23 million people. New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, that metropolitan area, 23 million people. So we said, let's go where the most people are, where there's the most potential for preaching. That's the only reason. And it's cold, that's a positive. Very good. It should be colder because then we won't develop enjoying mood. And we'll develop the necessary mood of discipline. Where did all the sages go to practice bhajan? In India, the Himalayas, where it's cold and they stayed in the caves. So in the future, yes, we'll make another ashram, hopefully in Maui. And we can preach there. But when we start, we have to start in a place where we can all develop that same mood of determination. Ready to face all obstacles and laugh at it. I don't see any problem. What is the problem? Radharani, what did she say? Prem Samput. We should print it on the wall. She said, Prem is like an elephant. Any obstacle it happily devours and becomes more strong by it. Any kind of obstacle is like a dog. No, Prem is like a lion. Some obstacles are like elephants. It eats them. Becomes more strong. Some obstacles are like dogs. It eats them also. It becomes more powerful. This is Radharani's mood. Even obstacles caused by one's own beloved, meaning man or anything like that, that only makes prem more powerful. That prem becomes so powerful, it's like a flame that can burn the whole world. That prem was Hanuman's prem. Hanuman burnt down Lanka not because of anger, but because of praying for Ram, love for Ram. See how powerful his love was. He never thought, oh, my tail is on fire, I'm suffering. He was very happy, oh, my tail's on fire, now look, I will Vijay, Ram Vijay. I will declare victory for Ram by burning down this entire city. It's the power of praying. So we pray to take shelter of Srimati Radharani and develop this mood of praying. That's why every morning, I remember we were meeting with Siddhanti Maharaj a few months ago in the Bronx. And he was saying, oh, people think Vaishnavas are supposed to be Shanta, peaceful. So that's completely wrong. Vaishnavas are Ashanta, restless. Every day they wake up thinking, where can I go, what can I do, how can I please my Gurudev? Only thing in their minds, from the time they wake to the time they sleep and while they're sleeping, how can I please my Gurudev? How can I develop Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttamagati? Maharaj was telling us this verse. Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttamagati. Our only goal in this life is attachment to the lotus feet of Gurudev. That's it. Then we have the chance that Gurudev, it's not just that Gurudev sees everything we're doing. Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada came and directly blessed the boy. Now this will be your last birth. To show the example directly that all of us can hear it. But Guru is Sarvagya, he knows everything. Shakshar Hari Tvena Samasta Sastre. All the Shastras declare Guru is as good as Hari, therefore he knows everything. It's described in Shastra that there's 6 symptoms of Guru. Like Bhagavan, he knows past, present, future. That is real Guru. He understands everything. So if we are engaged to try to please him, don't think Gurudev cannot see. Gurudev sees everything. But we have to try to follow. Otherwise, Gurudev, I remember a very sad thing Gurudev said once, one of his later tours. He said, I've come so many times to try to help you, to try to teach you. And yet nobody wants to take. I'm coming with open hands to give everything. Nobody is ready to take. And everyone would ask, oh Gurudev, what to do when you're not here? We have no strength and enthusiasm to follow Bhakti. What to do? He said, what is the problem? To kirtan, be with sadhus, preach. There's no problem. To the girls, he would say, don't be like mice and kittens. I want you to be like lions. Everyone can be an acharya. Bishop Maharprabhu would send me this beautiful lecture of Prabhupada in Mayapur, 1974 March. Prabhupada said, I want 1,000 gurus very quickly. Don't delay. You can be guru, 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 everyone. But what is the mood of a guru? I am only the das, the servant. Then you are a guru. If you have this mood, every drop of my energy, every moment of my consciousness, how can I please the desire of my Gurudev? Then you are Koramore Atmasat, you are one with the heart of Gurudev, then Gurudev's qualities are in you. But you only have the mood, I am the servant. I am the servant of the servant of the servant. Then everyone, Prabhupada was saying in 1974, I want 1,000 gurus. Nowadays people are arguing, this person not qualified, this person not qualified, this person not qualified. Did Prabhupada do that? Prabhupada initiated many sannyasis, go out, preach, be gurus. What did Mahaprabhu do when he went to South India? An ordinary householder. Jare deke tare karhe amar upadesh guru hoy sarv tare idesh. Jare deke tare kahe Krishna upadesh amar agyay guru hoy tare edesh. To whoever you see, jare deke tare kahe, speak to them Krishna's instructions. On my order, amar agyay guru hoy tare edesh. On my order, become guru and liberate the land. So that we are a missionary movement. Because all the jivas who are suffering in this world, punarapi jannam, punarapi marnam, hellish conditions, simply by hearing Krishna Nam and Krishna's instructions, they'll get liberation. They'll go on the higher pathway. This is why we are here. So the ashram must be very nicely developed so that nowadays we have to use all intelligence, all strategies, how to serve and please Gurudev. So it's not like every day we have to, run around like headless chickens thinking we're doing seva. Running around like busy work, busy for nothing. It may be that we're all sitting here not doing anything. Meaning not like running around all the time. May just sit on the computer all day. But if it's making incremental steps towards pleasing the order and following the order of Gurudev, and that's the best seva. Every day different people are coming to the ashram, but it's tricky how to qualify people, how to train people. Vaishnavas always say, don't bring me people, full of anarthas and full of, so many problems like dirty clothes. First wash the clothes, then bring them in the temple. So even ISKCON time, they would go out and train people and go to people's homes. Why do we need new people? They can come here sometimes for festivals. Better we go to their house and do a program. Like that lady, we went to buy the wood stove. We sat down and we did 1 hour class in her house. And then we came back in a snowstorm because of it. But all the kids, 3 kids and the father, the mother, they were asking us questions for like an hour about Krishna. Oh, Radha and Krishna this, soul that, karma this. It was very interesting. So if we can attract people here, but we can also go out. But how can we follow steps by which we can try to please that desire of Guru Vaishnavas? Make it very nice for people to use. Like the Goswamis, they made very nice temples and then left them. And they traveled here and there under a different tree every night. Please forgive me for anything incorrect. Prabhuji instructed every day, try to speak Harikatha to me personally. So I'm trying not to be lax in that. And whether it's here or whether anywhere else, try to follow that instruction. We can follow one instruction, then we can start following other instructions. But everyone's gradually try to, do whatever they can to, and understanding our purpose and our mission, who we are, what we are doing, and reaffirming that regularly. We are not here for anything else. Everything is included when the motivation and the understanding is right. But if we don't have that, then we get distracted in all the other things. So many things we can do here. Oh, Gurukul. Oh, Goshala. Oh, we can have this, we can have that. If it's following the desire of Vaishnavas, if we ask Vaishnavas say do that, good, okay, I'll try to do it. But we can't jump steps and just think, oh no, we have to just make a Goshala. Or we just have to make a garden, or we have to just make that. But we should make a perfect garden. We should make a perfect Goshala. We should make a perfect Gurukul. But what are the real steps we have to do to be able to get to that point? To have it a perfect A+, 108% perfect situation. Not perfect, but like as much as we can, make it nice. But if we only think, oh, it's only for the Goshala, only for the Gurukul, only for that, it may be my desire to have a Gurukul. It may be my desire to have a Goshala and have cows. Is it Krishna's desire, Gurudev's desire? If we can get to that stage, yes. But that's why even in the beginning he said, don't have Thakurji, because then you won't have time to preach. So he said in the first email, I want quickly you to send me a list of new people for names. And give Harinam Mala and Japa beads and quickly write me and ask me what names to give. First instructions. So it's like, okay, we may say, okay, I just maintain a Goshala, but how many new people are coming trying to get devotee names? So if we do that, if we get new devotees, then Goshala, they run the Goshala. They run the Gurukul. So that's why my whole thing is, how can we all together figure out a way that from the morning time we're thinking how to serve that desire of the Guru Vaishnavas for which we are here. How can we serve that desire of Guru Vaishnavas, which is the only reason we are here? And I can't speak for everybody, and everyone is, following their own spiritual life and their own spiritual path individually and their own relation to Guru Vaishnavas. I'm just speaking for myself. I have no desire or other reason to be here. Zero. I would happily walk away and never look back if it can't please the order of the Vaishnavas. And so whatever that order is, I'm not really thinking, oh, if it's like I'm all day long doing phone calls and talking. When Param Gurudev people were criticizing Param Gurudev. He's not a Vaishnav. He's not wearing tilak. He's all day outside the courts and doing business work and this arrangement, that arrangement. He's not a Vaishnav. Bhaktivinoda Prabhupada said, anyone who is saying he is not a Vaishnav, they are not a Vaishnav and they are not my disciple. They don't understand Bhakti. Param Gurudev was outside with his feet up on the table, not going to Aarti. And everyone was coming offering pranam. Bhakti Sridhar Maharaj came and he asked Bhaktisiddhanta, who is this person in white cloth sannyasi is offering pranam? He's not going to Aarti even. Param Gurudev, he called him, oh, what were you doing? He said, oh, we have this weekly magazine, daily newspaper, 5 different languages, this monthly one, our deadline is tomorrow, we still have like 4 articles, and I was just meditating on all of it for a few minutes, and I was going to go back and finish it. He said, he's doing real Aarti. So we can be like, we're doing the program perfectly, but have we come out with our monthly magazine yet? Krishna Kundu is working on it now. I worked on it a week ago. Have we come out with 10 volumes of Gurudev's Harikatha yet? That's real Kirtan. Have we published 1997 yet? 1996, most of us didn't transcribe. We're doing a little editing, a little proofreading. We're doing 97 now. Since 1 year. Is it published yet? That's real Kirtan. When those 10 volumes of Gurudev's 96 lectures are published, then for the first time we'll have done Kirtan in this temple. No other Kirtan has been done yet. When that book is published, then we've done Kirtan. Because then we've tried to serve the desire of Gurudev. Gurudev didn't say come and just sleep and ring the cartels and ring the bell. When 1997, 10 volumes are done, then we've done our second Kirtan. And when every month the magazine comes out, then we've done our third Kirtan. And when more and more people are distributing those and coming to Gurudev, then we've done our fourth Kirtan. Just publishing the books is nothing. We came here to preach, to spread the books. Prabhuji said in his email, book distribution. The Ganga Matas every day, all day, they're outside doing Kirtan and book distribution. I talked to Sita and Kamala for an hour and a half just a few days ago. How do you do it so nicely? How do you run your ashram so nicely? And I took advice from them for an hour and a half. Every day they go out, all the girls, on the street, sit down and do Kirtan and pass out books. Then they're able to go to India and get tickets. They never take anything from Prabhuji. Prabhuji said, I'm giving you everything. Don't be lazy and be a burden. Other people, I don't give them anything, and then they work hard. They have a mortgage. They have to think, oh, I have to pay the mortgage. If I don't do books, how am I going to pay the mortgage? How am I going to go to India? That's why Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada said, if you get a mortgage, it's very good. Because it'll make you work hard preaching. Just Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada is very merciful. We're like babies, Oh, we want everything very easy. So no mortgage. Why? LA, big mortgage, temple's gone. So no mortgage. But that doesn't mean, oh, no mortgage, now we can be peaceful. Every day we should wake up with an itch. How can I serve the desire of Gurudev? By preaching, by spreading, by publishing books, by serving his mission. Then otherwise it's like everything else. Oh, another house. Every girl has the house, they do Kirtan, they have Thakurji. But we are a preaching mission. That's it. Books, magazines, new devotees, new ashrams, new temples. People should come within a year, they should be trained up so they can go start a new temple. 1 year from now, Vrindavan is ready to go start a new temple, or I'll leave and start a new temple and make you in charge. Within 5-6 years, hundreds of temples started only because they had that spirit. That's all it takes. If few people have that, then you find other people who want that same thing and you spread it to them like a virus. You want the bhakti virus. Spread that mood of enthusiasm, that fire. Spread that mood, that spark of desire to serve Gurudev's mission. Otherwise, what is the future 50 years from now for Gurudev's mission? If somebody doesn't do it now, in India, so many temples, who is there? Cobwebs, spiders, they're living in the ashram. Mice are living in the ashram, nobody's cleaning, Gurudev's Samadhi, in other places. Why? Because everyone is happily getting enough food to eat. Everyone is happily having a bed to stay in. Everyone's very happy. But Gurudev's Samadhi is full of cobwebs. And so Prabhuji has to send people 3-4 times a year to clean it nicely. Everyone there, very happily, every day, very nice prasadam, nice room to sleep in. So it's a fine line between staying in the ashram and staying in the ashram. It's a fine line between doing kirtan and really doing kirtan. Param Gurudev wasn't sitting in the mud doing kirtan. He was sleeping in the afternoon with his head on a wooden box. And Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada's heart melted. He's from such an aristocratic family. And here he is laying on the side of the road all day. And he asked Param Gurudev, why were you sleeping out there when he came back? He said, if I came back then the nighttime, all the shops open, I wouldn't have a chance to, so many people I can see. Morning time I went out, saw some people. If I leave in the afternoon, in India, they all close the shops in the afternoon. So he said, therefore I slept under a tree with my head on the box so no one would steal it. And he would come back 9, 10 o'clock at night. Param Gurudev had so much seva vritti, so much service tendency. Even if he would come back 11, 12 at night, he would go and knock on the door, and Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada would open the room and he would sleep in the same room with Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, under his bed, next to his bed. Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada had a nice bed, he would sleep there. Any time of the day he would come back. He had so much mamata for him. Everyone else, Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada said up. Very respectful. Param Gurudev would say tu. It means you are mine, like my child, like my baby, like my beloved. Otherwise, everyone, dasosvi, dasoham, dasoham, I'm the servant, up. Param Gurudev, only tu. You, my own. You are my own. Because of his mood of one-pointed dedication. Therefore, Param Gurudev supported 64 temples. And after Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, everyone would come to Param Gurudev for instruction and for support. Because he was the one who had that gravity, that steadfastness that he could maintain and support things, do or die. Otherwise, if do or die for this, for that, but that doesn't mean we can let up, okay, we don't have to do the program. No. What's the problem? We should do it very nicely. There's nothing else going on. Why shouldn't we do it? That's my own fault. Therefore, I am lacking my own self. Program should be very steady. Why not? What's the short? If we can't even do a program, then how are we going to do anything else? But why are we trying to be like that? And if we can move forward in that direction, then everything will automatically flow on very nicely. Then it's cold. That's not a problem. Nothing is a problem then, because we understand its use, that we want it to be cold. Not that we want it to be cold, but that if we accept hardship for the pleasure of Guru Vaishnavas, then we conquer the heart of Krishna. So, I'm sorry for speaking so long and so dramatically. Please forgive me. But I always feel there's that danger of complacency. There's the danger of feeling like, we've done all we need to do. We haven't even taken the first foot in what we need to do. We're just starting to take that first foot, and then the next, and then the next, and then the next. How we can please the desire of Gurudev, Koro More Atma Sat, then automatically, when we're doing that seva, blissfully we'll be chanting Harinam, we'll be with the devotees, there'll be no quarrels. Any quarrel will just be like a very sweet flavor or sweet spicy combination in the preparation, without which it would be bland. Because everyone is in the same mood. Then any quarrel that comes up, it's just to try to get the same goal. How can we further please the mission of Guru and serve the mission of Gurudev? So that's why we are here. And it's Gurudev, we are very small, insignificant jivas. Very small, insignificant jivas. So really, Krishna doesn't need anything from us. Gurudev doesn't need anything from us. But he's giving us that chance to make relationship with him and become qualified to enter into Seva Kunj. Why did Gurudev give us this painting, and why is it called Seva Kunj? Could have been called anything else. Madhuri Kunj, Radha Kunj. That is also Seva Kunj. But Gurudev said this is Seva Kunj. Because if we want to enter that service of Radha Krishna, like Narottam Das Thakur sings, Haribo go. Nikunjara Dwari Dwari Rohibo go. When will I be able to look through the lattice work into Radha Krishna's pastimes in the Kunj? This is happening in this painting. All the mandris are looking through the little crevices between the branches and the leaves and the foliage and seeing Radha Krishna. Nikunjara Dwari Dwari Rohibo go. When will we enter that Seva Kunj? When we develop that mood of Param Gurudev. And it's not that we're just working. It's not about work. It's about relationship and love. And if we love them, we'll want to please them. And if we want to please them, then their desire becomes one with our desire. If their desire is one with our desire, then we're connected to the entire parampara up to Krishna. Because Gurudev, Param Gurudev, Parapar Gurudev, Paramparat Gurudev, Parameshti Gurudev, they're all only trying to fulfill the desire of their Gurudev and their instructions. So in that way, we're at one moment connected to the entire parampara. So, Hare Krishna, tomorrow night, different devotees can speak. Sometimes it's nice we all read and pass the book around, but sometimes also nice just regular Harikatha, because then people can get that practice. And generally in Harikatha, you're forced to just remember whatever you know and speak that, because you're like underneath Mahaprabhu Nityananda, Gurudev, everyone is there as your Shakshi, your witness. So it's like an examination. Harikatha is like a school examination. If I say anything bogus, I'm going to get bad marks. Why? Who is examining us? Gaur Nityananda, the Shringadev, Prahlad, Gurudev, Rupa Manjari, Rati Manjari, Guru Saki, Param Guru Saki, Radha Krishna themselves, Shalagram, Prabhupada, everyone is examining us now. So everyone can get a chance to speak Harikatha. And it helps us remember what we are here to do. And this is Kirtan. So Hare Krishna. Finish for Kirtan and finish for the night. Radhe Radhe. Baby steps. Hari Bol Boyar Madan Mohan